this last one I'm going to kind of clump together because it unfortunately in the realm of pop culture they kind of fit together. Disease and plague and zombies. They kind of usually there's a plague that starts the zombies or whatever. So we'll try to kind of keep them separated here, like Offspring. Anybody get that reference?
Good one, David. Good one.
All right, so we'll start with movies. Actually, I want to talk about this because I read the book. It's called the movie Will Smith.
All right.
Remember we talked about doing a Will Smith? This is pretty much a Will Smith episode almost at this point. If he was in Fallout, we'd be set.
We didn't mention Men in Black for the alien invasion.
Oh, you're right. What were we thinking?
We missed that category.
Well, he was in Independence Day. Come on, he can't double dip, right? Okay.
Right.
I Am Legend, the movie. Did you guys all see it?
No.
Yes.
Really? You didn't see it? Okay. So it's kind of like a vampire movie, to be perfectly honest. It's not so much a plague.
Skip?
No, it's not bad. It's actually, the movie's not terrible, but it's nothing like the book. And I'm not going to, okay, spoiler alert, if you're going to ever read the book. It's like an excellent book, but the only thing that's the same from the book to the movie is the main character's name. That's it.
Seriously?
That's it.
What about the dog?
That's the saddest part of the book.
No, I know. But the dog dies.
No. I'll spoil the book because the movie is really sad. The book is even worse.
Spoil the movie. This movie is so old.
Okay, well, anyways, at the end.
I said spoil if the dog dies.
Yeah, the dog dies. But in the book, this is what happens in the book. So it's actually really cool because it's the thing I like about. Well, I don't like, but the thing that I find interesting in like zombies and apocalypse is the sense of being all alone. Having no one to talk to. Do you know how crazy you go if you have literally no one to speak to?
Well, he's like talking to mannequins. And
right. That's what he has to do to like keep sanity.
Yeah.
Well, in the book,
Wilson,
right?
Wilson.
Well, in the book, he loses. He's lost everything. He's all by himself. He's kept in his house, and he just starts drinking. Like he'll go into these benders where he'll just drink himself stupor for like a month. Because he has everything to like kind of survive essentially, and he can go out during the day and go far enough away that as long as he can come back before it gets dark, he's okay because they're essentially vampires. And
they can't be out during the day.
Yeah, they can't be. They'll burn or whatever. So, he's just terrible. He just drinks and he goes into why am I trying to live? Why don't I just die? Like, what's the point? What am I trying to do? You know, like what's the point?
Yeah, why doesn't he just kill himself?
Right. That's what he goes through. So he drinks and he does all this, and it's really sad. It's very sad. It's a very depressing book. But then one day he's out and he sees this dog, and so he's like, oh my God, a companion. So of course he naturally runs after the dog. The dog, having probably dealt with zombies or vampires, whatever, runs away. And he like loses it because he's like, that was my one chance and I ran off this dog. I'm such an idiot. Of course the dog's going to run away. So then he goes into a drinking bender for the next like 2 weeks. Finally comes out of it and he goes, you know what? I bet that dog will come back if I just put some food out. So he puts some food out, like, 30 feet away from his house. The dog is real hesitant, comes out, eats it. And then he slowly, every like 3 or 4 days, and this is going on in this book. Like this is definitely the cliff notes because this is going on and on. He moves the food just a little bit closer, a little bit closer, a little bit closer, a little bit closer. Finally gets the dog to the point where he can actually grabs the dog, brings it in the house, shuts the door. The dog, of course, freaks out.
Right.
Goes into the master bedroom and starts trying to burrow underneath the where the floorboards are with his bed. He's underneath the bed and he's trying to scratch. And he's like, calm down, calm down. He finally gets the dog to calm down. He's like, oh my God, I finally got this dog. Next chapter, dog dies.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
How does the dog die in the book?
Well, and that's the book.
He's talking about the book.
So you're like, oh, he finally got the dog. Oh my God, I'm so excited for him. He finally has this companion, and the dog just dies from like stress the next day.
Oh.
And it's just brutal.
And that means like he killed the dog, kind of.
Yeah, and he loses it at that point. Anyways, in the movie, he has a dog, and like this dog is it's like the dog in Independence Day, just barely makes it out. It's like this cute dog, and he does, he's funny, and it's kind of his companion. And in the movie, he has to kill it, right? It's really sad. But
now isn't this movie a remake of Omega Man with Charlton Heston?
Yeah, so Omega Man is based off of the same book of the same name, but it's a different take on it. But it's that's like inspired by and
I never saw Omega Man, but I saw I Am Legend.
Yeah, but read the book. Even though I kind of spoiled that part, there's more to the book. There is actually a lot more to the book, and it's an excellent book. So definitely check that out. Okay. Let's move.
And there's like does it have the lady at the end, like the other people?
None of that's it's all just him.
It's just negative.
It's really sad. It's really cool because it shows how scary it would. Like it honestly would be extremely frightening to never speak to another human being again.
The first like 2 to 3 weeks would be so peaceful. There'd be like nobody bothering me. I'd be like, man, there's nobody in the grocery store lines. Like, just like nobody annoying you. Okay. It would be really nice for a couple weeks.
All right. Here's the disease ones that freak me out. I think they freak you out too. Like the Outbreak movie, Contagion. Do those freak you out?
I saw Contagion and I was flying out somewhere like right after it. I was just like,
Get away from me.
Get away from me.
Especially with like the Ebola thing, like a year ago or a year and a half ago or whatever. That was like, it was just spreading around and feel like, oh, now it's in Texas. Like, what? Like, stop the airports. Like, don't let it get here.
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
Quarantine Texas. I don't care. Like, don't let it get to Nevada. That's all I care about.
I remember there's a part in that movie where and it's really funny. I think she works for the Center the Center for Disease Control, and she's like telling the guy that she's talking to, don't touch your face. People on average touch their face every 5 seconds or something like that. So now for the rest of the video, I'm going to try to keep my hands. And for some reason, that has stuck in my head, and I touch my face constantly. And I'm like, don't touch your face. Because she's like, that's how you get a disease. That's how you get it.
Touching your own face?
Yeah. Well, they say.
Well, your eyes, your eyes are like they're basically just like big open wounds. like you could just disease can go right in there. Someone sneezes in your eye, like it's bad news.
Game over.
Game over.
But I remember, it's Jude Law who has like the bubble suit on. I love that part. Right, yeah. And he's like trying to spread like panic and fear and stuff like that. I think actually more the scarier thing to me is like the fear. Like definitely. The panic running and people like, because here's the thing. Some people wear when they go out, they wear the mask, like the surgical mask type thing.
That always freaks me out.
Yeah, it does freak.
There's one lady at work that wears that, and I'm like,
she could be perfectly healthy, but she looks creepy, right?
Yeah. She's allergic to perfume.
Oh.
And it's other people that she's trying to protect herself from. But I'm standing as
too.
far away from her as possible in the elevator. But I
see like tourists and stuff come to Vegas. You're like, are they sick and they still came here?
Or
right.
But no, it's generally
they're
not trying.
Yeah, they're trying to get sick. Yeah, they're doing their due diligence.
Right.
Yeah, and we're all freaked out by them.
We're all disgusting people running around sneezing on each other. The Andromeda strain is the same kind of thing.
Yeah,
that's sort of like
12 monkeys.
I love
from
12
space
monkeys.
though. It's like a space
madness.
Is space disease, and it's spreading around. But yeah.
Okay, so let's talk about. Let's talk about. You guys wanted to talk about Planet of the Apes. I didn't think
same kind of thing. Yeah.
I didn't think it was. I didn't pick that up. It's a disease. I didn't even know that.
Well, if you watch the rebooted,
I haven't watched the new ones.
It's Rise, and then what's the second one?
Dawn.
Or Rise?
Dawn, and then
Dawn, and then Rise. Yeah, we watched Dawn.
Planet, and
the
then
Franco
Dawn,
one.
and then
okay,
Rise.
off camera, we had a debate about this. They had a bet whether the Mark Wahlberg one called Planet of the Apes is included as part of the newer movies.
It's not.
Wow, it was a newer movie.
No, it was definitely newer.
You know what?
Let's wait, did Tim Burton do that one?
Yes. Let's do this. In the YouTube comments below, are you Team Gerald that the Mark Wahlberg is not part of this universe?
Correct. There's only 2 movies in War of the Planet of the Apes.
It's coming out in 2017.
Oh, that's the 4th one.
Or are you with Team Jordan and you think Mark Wahlberg, he's in?
Marky Mark's in. Marky Mark's awesome, first of all.
Like I said, it was definitely a newer Planet of the Apes, but it's more just same carbon copy of the Charlton Heston one.
Yes, and then these other ones are like prequels to that one. Showing how the Planet of the Apes became Planet of the Apes.
You're right, but it's still not part of the franchise.
It's not canon, bro.
Why? How do you decide this?
The studios who make the movies.
We talked about this. You know what's funny about Andy Serkis does the face, right?
Of Caesar, yeah.
It's funny because, when he did like Gollum, I was like, man, that's like a really cool role, but man, you're never going to get work. He's like everything.
Right. You finally get to see his face in Ultron and Star Wars now, right? It was like Force Awakens.
Oh, he actually is.
It's motion capture.
Yeah, it's motion capture for.
We got to see his face in Ultron at least.
It's just funny though, because it's just like you would think this guy would like, oh, that's cool, you did Gollum. Like that's like your one thing, Like Macaulay Culkin didn't even get more work after Home Alone, but this guy's got like 7.
King Kong, right? He was King Kong.
Yeah, he was King Kong too. So good for him. Good job, Andy.
But they're like, do you get an Oscar nomination? Nope, because it's all CG.
Oh, really? They don't give it to him? That's messed up.
Yeah, maybe that'll change.
Yeah, I hope so.
Do they go through the disease much in Rise of the Planet of the Apes?
No, it's like at the very they know it causes, and like his buddy sneezes and like blood starts all stuff. Right. But the very end of the movie, like during the credits, they show the disease traveling from city to city to city, and then by the time Rise hits, it's happened already. Yeah.
Okay, so one thing I wanted to talk about with this disease/plague, we'll get into the zombie part next, but one of the games that I absolutely love, it's on the wall. I don't know if it's in the shop, but Pandemic. It's over behind me. Oh, yeah. But they might not see it. I don't know.
Oh, gotcha.
But Pandemic, fantastic game. Me and Gerald have both played.
So hard.
It is really hard. It's a cooperative game. Again, Jordan, you have to work together, and no one person wins. They all lose together, or they all
Jordan.
win.
Right. Jordan, this would not be a good game for you.
No, but it's a really cool game. You're all medical professionals, like a medic or a contingency planner. You all get like a special ability, which is one of my favorite things of games, is that everybody gets like their own special, and you need everybody. Everybody has to work together to win this game. And it's the world, and there's different diseases that are going on, and you're trying to cure disease. Well, first you're trying to find a cure for these 4 diseases. That's the only way you can win, is to find cure for all 4 of these diseases. But there's like 10,000 ways you can die. And they just recently, and it's a fantastic game. I recommend everybody, if you have not played board games before, this is an excellent kind of gateway game because it's
and you work together. A lot of people don't like board games because you're playing against each other. This is everyone's working for each other against the game. So
and what's cool is it has this mechanic, kind of like a disease. We're talking about Ebola. Is if one area of the map has a lot of disease already in it, and then it gets an additional infection, it outbreaks to all of the cities connected to it.
Maybe I did play this game, actually. It does sound very familiar.
Cubes.
I think I did play. I think we lost.
Yeah.
The only time I played it, we lost too. But.
Yeah, and you can pick the difficulty. I recommend start on the easy.
Even on the easiest, we lost.
I know, but it's one of those games. Even when you lose, it's fun.
Yeah,
because there's tension at the end.
Missed it by that much.
Yeah, exactly. Well, they just recently came out with a new version of it called Pandemic Legacy, and Legacy is something they've added to a couple games. One of them is Risk. Basically, what it is permanency built into the board game, meaning every game you play, you affect the games thereafter. Meaning and this is what I love about these games.
It's like a video game. That's cool.
Yeah, but it's even worse than
New Game
video.
Plus, you know?
No, it's even worse than that because
New
you
Game
actually
Plus
have to...
was the best thing ever. Sorry. But I loved that.
Well, this kind of takes that on steroids because what it does is, like, let's say we play... It's kind of a campaign, essentially kind of like a video game. You play the same game, but things change each time you play. But here's the part that I love that they make board gamers do. You have to rip up the cards.
Oh, no.
That's how permanent.
Can't you just not use them?
No, you have to rip them. That's
who's gonna say? Hey,
I am.
You didn't rip the card.
Z-Man Games will see you and they will tell you to rip the card.
But you paid for it.
No, but
I have a small envelope that says ripped card. Put them in
there. But it's cool because of the permanency of it, and then it's like I think it's between $40 and $50. But you get the full campaign at somewhere between at least 12. It's like at least 12. It's a full year.
Microtransactions. It's their version.
Well, they made a blue and a red version. There's no difference. It's just the box cover is different.
Yeah.
They expect you to buy a couple of copies of it.
Of course they do.
Mine's in the mail. It'll be here Wednesday.
Of course it is.
So definitely check out Pandemic, and then of course if you really want to be.
How long is the rule book?
It's not that long.
Do they
Actually,
they need a friend like you to read it and
I should do that. I should do like a full video where I just stand in front and literally do the audiobook of rule books. I bet nobody's done that.
Yeah,
so boring.
You should explain that to people because I literally look at rule books and I'm just like, forget it. I'll wait till David explains it to me. I'm refused to.
So that's my board game moment. Okay, so let's move on to zombies because I almost want to do a whole episode on zombies, but we'll kind of shoehorn it in here because it like I said, a lot of the plague stuff, like 28 Days Later, 28 Weeks Later. Did you see those movies, Jordan?
No.
Okay,
I did. 28 Days Later is one of the best like horror kind of one of those kind of movies ever.
Yeah.
28 Weeks is all right, but 28 Days Later is
you know
really
why those
good.
zombies are so scary? They can run. They can run.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, that is the most frightening thing when a zombie is not a shambling.
Right.
Well, I don't think 28 Days Later they're technically zombies. They're just they have like rage, I think is what they call it.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Rabies.
Yeah.
Yeah, something weird.
Oh,
like
by
that.
the way, have you ever seen that YouTube video that this poor kid has rabies and he's like, I think rabies, like that's where I think zombie, like the fiction of it came from. Like when you're infected with rabies, like really high level rabies, like it's
the animals you keep shooting them, they don't go down.
Yeah. So I think that's where the zombie mythos came from. But okay, so let's go to a movie we've all seen. We talked about it a couple times. Zombieland.
Yep.
Fantastic movie. I enjoy
Double tap. Cardio.
I love the funny zombie movies. Now, I think it's just because it's been so saturated with like, it's hard to make a scary zombie movie anymore because we're like, just shoot them in the head. We know what to do. Whereas if it was one of the first zombie movies, it would have been really creepy to see, if it really happened. Like
was Day of the Dead was George Romero first one?
Yeah, one of the first ones, yeah.
But the part with Bill Murray in that movie is so awesome. He's like, I'm just pretending to be a zombie.
I didn't even know about that. Someone was like, "Oh, Bill Murray's in the movie," and like we're like 30 minutes in. I was like, "Oh, they were just being a jerk and just trying to be funny." Like Bill Murray's not in this movie, and then he shows up. I'm like, "Really?" And then he gets
It's like, "Oh my God, are you okay, Shaw?" He's like, "No, I'm not." He just sells it to the end.
I met Bill Murray when I was a kid.
Really?
Seriously?
Yeah, I did.
Nice.
My dad used to take us to these pro-am golf tournaments where they have like famous people.
Yeah.
And like the year before we went, he showed up, or maybe it was even like 2 years before, I don't remember, but he was in like just like a motorcycle jacket and like just didn't care, and he just didn't.
He still doesn't care.
Now he just goes around to random parties and crashes them.
But they gave him a really hard time about it, and I think they were going to ban him, or they banned him next year. And the one where I went though, he had like, you know how you wear one golf glove?
Yeah.
Like, he had two on, and he was like completely decked out with all
Nice.
the golf gear, like over the top. It was awesome, and like everyone was crowded around. He's just so funny. Everyone was crowded around wherever he was at, and like no one was paying attention to any of the other stuff. We went over to like we went and saw him.
You said he was banned?
he was banned because of the first one, but then he came back, and that's why he like overdid it and oversold it. And then I actually met President Bush, not W.
Yeah,
but
H.
Yeah. Because like he was at one where nobody else was around because everybody was at Bill Murray's and like nobody cared.
Nobody cares about the president.
And so he
awesome.
like came up and said hi. It was really cool. Those pro-am golf courses are fun. I got
cool.
Tiger Woods signed a hat for me. At
Nice.
one
T Woods, bro.
They're cool.
Okay, so like I said, I don't want to go too much into zombies. We're running long on time, but I also want to do a zombie episode. I think it'd be better just to keep it there because there's a ton of zombie stuff.
Yeah.
Okay, so what I wanted to do, I went online and I looked up